Isengard and Mordor, and the union of the two towers.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. Welcome to my second Lord of the Rings review. The Two Towers, released in 2002. So as I mentioned on my last review, the Lord of the Rings review, this is a franchise that I've got an awful lot of affection for. It was a tradition when it came out. I went to see them all with my wife at the cinema. The first movies we really went to see together and really enjoyed them. We developed that love for movies since, and we go regular still. And I was so excited. I remember going to see this at the cinema, and I was so excited after the first one. And as I mentioned previously, I wasn't overly familiar with the books, other than when you were kind of forced to read them at school. And I still don't have a lot of memory of the books then. It's more of a Hobbit book that I've got more of a memory of from school rather than this one. And the Two Towers basically follows directly on from the first one. Pippin and Merry have been taken by the Orcs and Uruk-hais, taking him back to Isengard. And they are being chased by Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. Frodo and Sam have headed off on their own to Mordor, and they very soon meet up with Gollum, who initially tries to take the ring from them, but then agrees to be their guide to lead them into Mordor. But I mean, Gollum was just played so brilliantly by Andy Serkis. I mean, it was just watching it back now. I mean, I was saying to my wife when we rewatched this, I mean, just look at how great the effects are for Gollum in this. And this is 2002. Incredible stuff. So yeah, back to the story. So Gandalf comes back. He's now Gandalf the White. He meets up with Aragorn, Gimli and Legolas when they realise that Pippin and Merry are safe. He's with Treebeard, and they basically head to Rohan. The king there is under some spell from Saruman, Christopher Lee's character, and they have to break the spell and try and convince Rohan, the king of Rohan, to fight against Sauron and Saruman. He declines this initially, the king, and they basically head to Helm's Deep, and it's up to Aragorn and the others to go with them and defend Helm's Deep from an incredible force of 10,000 Uruk-hais that are heading to take them out at Helm's Deep. Right, so Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers then, for me, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, well, this is my favourite Lord of the Rings film, this is my favourite, and a lot of people do like the Two Towers as their favourite. I'll be perfectly honest, I kind of like them all equally, to a large degree. It's very hard to separate them because they were filmed together, like in sequence, in New Zealand where they filmed them, and they just kind of went back for reshoots here and there. They flow so beautifully, I think, all of these films, and they kind of are one part of one big film. So there's three films, but they all become like one big film, certainly in my opinion. So I don't have a favourite, if I'm being honest. I just adore them all the same, which might give you some indication as to what score I'm going to give this one after you saw my score for the first one. I genuinely can't separate the three films in regards to what's my favourite, because they're so expertly made and just so wonderful to watch. And as I mentioned last time with my Fellowship of the Ring review, they are so chill to watch. I mean, they're just so relaxing in a lot of ways. And this film, like the first half, very much like the Fellowship one, the first half of it is paced, at a very, very steady pace. I think that's fair to say, with the odd moment added in there, the odd slight battle or the odd moment of excitement or danger thrown in there. And then the big selling point of this film is, of course, the Battle of Helm's Deep, which for me is right up there. And honestly, right now, I can't think of a better battle. The best battle I think, that has ever been put to screen. Certainly, like, swords, like swords and spears type battle. I know there's other sorts of battles, like with guns and all that kind of stuff, that you could throw into the mix. But I mean, like, in this kind of setting, in this fantasy setting, I can't think of a better battle that's ever been put to screen. It totally grips you, the Battle of Helm's Deep. You're really invested, and it's utterly spectacular. I mean, that scene at the beginning where they're kind of facing off, they're up behind the walls of Helm's Deep, and the Uruk-hai are at the bottom, waiting to attack. And one of the most powerful things I've seen on screen is one of the Uruk-hais is breathing heavy, and you can see that the breath coming through his like mask. It's like a wild animal. I mean, it's terrifying. And the effects for the Uruk-hai this time round are incredible. I mean, they were very, very intimidating and frightening in the first film, but you only really got to see them at the end, when they were chasing them down, and they have that huge battle at the end where Sean Bean dies. I mean, the Uruk-hai this time round are just so intimidating and so frightening, fantastically done. And they've given them personalities this time. At the beginning of the film, they give them, some of them, these right Cockney accents, and they sound like really dodgy geezers. I really like the fact that they gave the orcs personalities and the Uruk-hai personalities and voices. I thought that was a very, very smart thing to do, because other than the odd one of them talking in Fellowship of the Ring, they didn't really feel to have much personality. So that was a really, really smart move by Peter Jackson, and I think this film is just incredible. You invested in everybody's journey here: Frodo, Sam's, Gollum's, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Gandalf. I mean, you're there with them all. Pippin, Merry, and it was just really, really fantastic film to enjoy, this one. And yeah, really impactful stuff. Really fantastic to watch. And I really, really thoroughly enjoyed rewatching The Two Towers. The extended edition, I have to remind you, it's the extended editions that I'm watching. For me, once you've watched them, you can't really go back to the theatrical versions. They're just, for me, so much better and more fleshed out than what we got in the theatrical versions, and they were incredible. So yeah, no surprise there in regards to the score, I'm sure. So yeah, look forward to my Return of the King review once I get round to rewatching that, and I'll get that review up as soon as possible. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back soon with loads more content.